There's no points, right? Because it's an exhibition. So that's what's interesting is Floyd's making more money than anybody, and he's boxing people who have no chance of beating him, and he's doing it as an exhibition. It doesn't even hurt his record.
Legacy a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that's what I feel like's happened with Mayweather.
Why do you think he does those things, though? Do you think
for money?
I
don't think he's got the money he says. That's what I think.
You think he still needs the money?
I don't
after
think
all
he
these
needs
years?
the money. But you know when you got that lifestyle, right? So when you're spending what he's spending,
it's a lot of expense.
Yeah.
Joe Rogan recently brought comedian Ali Sadiq onto his podcast, and before long, the topic turned to Floyd Mayweather. The conversation quickly shifted past surface-level admiration and into a deeper, more critical take on Mayweather's current lifestyle, specifically his ongoing exhibition fights, reckless spending habits, and a sudden, headline-grabbing claim that he now owns over 60 buildings in New York City. Rogan didn't dance around the subject. According to Rogan, this false claim could only mean one thing, that the exhibition fights Floyd's doing was him trying to make a living.
So that's what's interesting is Floyd's making more money than anybody, and he's boxing people who have no chance of beating him, and he's doing it as an exhibition. It doesn't even hurt his record.
Because of the drug of boxing. Just
also
like
money.
But I don't even think he don't need any money.
He spends so much money.
Yeah, but he don't need any. Floyd,
are you sure?
Yeah, Floyd good.
I bet if he's planning for the future, you got to keep it coming in if you're going to keep spending.
Mayweather's history with wealth is as well known as his undefeated boxing record. This is a man who built an entire persona around money. His nickname is literally Money Mayweather. He flaunts his wealth constantly. Private jets, custom cars, diamond-encrusted watches, and wads of cash carried in what he calls his pregnant bag, so named because it bulges with millions. For years, that image has defined him, but behind the flash is a constant, unrelenting need to keep the cash flow steady. Rogan called it out without hesitation. Mayweather's spending is so outrageous, so consistent, that he essentially has to keep getting into the ring just to afford the lifestyle he's created.
You got to keep it coming in if you're going to keep spending the way he spends.
Yeah, but I think he has a lot of other business interests that he can get money from.
Hopefully.
And not just boxing. But it's the drug of getting Floyd.
Then came the next piece of the puzzle, Mayweather's supposed leap into real estate. In a recent online flex, Mayweather claimed to have purchased 60 buildings in Upper Manhattan for $402 million, paid in full, with no loans. He posted videos of himself walking around the buildings, smiling, greeting tenants, and flashing documents. According to him, the properties contain over 1,000 rental units and are operated under his company, Vada Properties. He portrayed it as a solo achievement, a massive cash purchase to establish himself as a real estate mogul.
I love bringing the people into my lifestyle, showing the people how I live. Now, I know you guys see me on a regular talking about real estate. Well, lately, I purchased 62 apartment buildings in New York City. And what I need you guys to do, slide over and check out the photos. It's not all 62 buildings, it's a few buildings, but guess what? All the buildings belong to me. I don't have no partners. And all the retail down low on my buildings all belong to me. Guess what?
On paper, it sounds like an impressive pivot. Boxing champ turned landlord kingpin, all while supposedly giving back to the community by investing in affordable housing. Mayweather even framed the decision as emotional, saying it stemmed from his rough upbringing and a desire to make life better for people in neighborhoods like the one he came from. He emphasized the long-term vision, the idea that affordable housing represents stability and contribution rather than vanity. But questions quickly arose. Digging into public records revealed that Mayweather might not own the full portfolio. In fact, it's likely he only bought into a portion of it. The properties were already associated with Black Spruce Management, a major player in New York's affordable housing space. Insiders suggest that Mayweather's involvement might be more symbolic than operational, possibly a minority stake dressed up as a full-scale acquisition.
And I'm pointing like this because all of them in New York City right now.
Still, Mayweather hasn't backed down. On social media, he presents the story as if he's the sole owner. He's touring buildings on camera, greeting tenants, and dubbing himself the landlord of Manhattan. Rogan wasn't buying the act wholesale, but he wasn't entirely dismissive either. His take was that Mayweather knows how to manipulate perception. By looking like the owner, by acting like the boss, the world accepts the image. And Mayweather has always known how to make an image work for him.
In 36 months, with one of my new investments, I would be making $300 million a month.
What investment is that?
In real estate. I'm heavy in real estate. Even though I got a lot of cash, OPM. You don't always have to use your money. That's why it's very important for y'all to make sure y'all keep y'all.
What stood out to Rogan, even more than the property deal, was the repetition of behavior. Mayweather doesn't need to fight anymore, at least not in the traditional sense. He's undefeated, his legacy is intact, and he's already made generational wealth. Yet he continues signing up for exhibition bouts. These aren't high-stakes title fights. They're low-risk spectacles against influencers, internet celebrities, and fringe athletes. Every fight comes with another hefty check. $10 million, $20 million, sometimes more.
He owed that money to the IRS. How much does he owe?
It's in the $20+ million range.
It's a lot of money, man.
But it's not something that he's been, it's not like deception.
No.
It's just neglect to
It's
pay.
neglect. And it's also like, I think, and there is like a truth to this, he makes so much money.
Rogan's question is simple. If Mayweather's truly retired, why is he still stepping back into the ring? His answer is just as straightforward, because he has to. It's not about legacy or boredom, it's about cash flow. Mayweather lives on a level of excess that very few people on earth can match. He burns through money in a way that even hundreds of millions can't easily sustain. And the exhibition fights are the ideal solution. Mayweather controls the narrative, controls the opponent, controls the risk. There's no real danger of him losing, because he's fighting people who are never going to threaten him. The events are for entertainment, not competition, but the money is real. For Mayweather, it's like printing checks without having to risk a loss on his record.
One of the best investments that I did was New York real estate. So it started off with 7 figures, and I was getting a certain amount of money every month. When I first gave them $5 million, I was getting $50,000 a month. So I said, yo, the money kept coming on the 18th every month. 50,000 would come in. I still was competing, I still was fighting, I still was active, and I still was making crazy.
Then there's the strange contradiction that Rogan pointed out, the duality of Mayweather's life. On one side, you've got the Mayweather who leaves clubs surrounded by an entourage and briefcases full of cash. On the other, you've got the Mayweather who doesn't drink, who jogs home from those same parties at 4 a.m., who stays in peak condition year-round. That kind of discipline doesn't fit the image of the reckless spender. It's the mindset of someone who's constantly preparing, constantly calculating. This might explain how he stayed relevant for so long. Mayweather may treat exhibition fights like showbiz, but he trains for them like they're world title matches. He protects the brand, the body, the mystique. That kind of dual life, party king and fitness freak, is part of what keeps people watching. It creates the illusion that he's above the chaos, that he's always in control, even as the headlines suggest otherwise.
I mean, Floyd Mayweather, in this article, it states that he's spending $402 million in real estate investment in a 1,000-unit affordable housing portfolio in Upper Manhattan. The portfolio includes over 60 buildings and is one of the city's largest real estate deals of the year.
Wow. Well, thank you, Floyd Mayweather, for investing into New York real estate.
But Rogan didn't let go of the real estate angle. To him, it was less about whether Floyd truly owned all 60 buildings and more about why he'd make such a claim. It's part of a broader shift. Mayweather is getting older. The fights are becoming less frequent. He needs a new way to define himself, and positioning as a real estate mogul offers that. It's legacy building, not just showboating. It says, I'm more than a boxer. I'm a businessman. I'm building something permanent.
I believe in building generational wealth. Even like when my children, all 4 of my children are adults. And I told them, no more handouts, because I feel like I'm hurting my children.
Still, Rogan remains skeptical. The numbers don't add up. The claim that Mayweather dropped $400 million in cash with no help sounds more like branding than truth. It doesn't align with what's been reported publicly. Yet Mayweather continues to double down on the narrative. He needs people to believe he's not slowing down, that he's still in control, that the empire is growing, not shrinking. If Mayweather announces next month that he's fighting some TikTok star in Dubai, it won't be a surprise. It'll be confirmation. The buildings, the posts, the persona. It's all part of a larger system designed to keep the money flowing and the image polished. Mayweather isn't just preserving his wealth, he's working to protect the idea of who he is, and that takes constant effort.
I think the problem with shining is when it defines you.
Yeah.
The problem when you just everything is flat, like Floyd Mayweather in a way.
Yeah.
It's part of his persona. And it's part of why people root against him. Like Floyd is a genius, in my opinion. Not just a genius boxing. He's the greatest defensive boxer, in my opinion, of all time. But also a genius in that he figured out a way where he has this style that's not appealing to a lot of people.
What Rogan sees isn't a man lost or desperate. He sees someone who's figured out how to stay rich, or at least look rich, in a world that eats wealth and fame alive. The money bags, the exhibition fights, the real estate empire, it's all performance. It's not just about boxing anymore, it's about survival. In a culture that forgets champions the moment they stop performing, Mayweather is making damn sure nobody forgets him. That's the real fight Floyd's in now. It's not against boxers or YouTubers, it's against time. Against irrelevance, against the pressure to keep feeding a lifestyle that doesn't stop needing more. And as long as people are watching, as long as there's a check to cash, he'll keep dancing. Not for glory, but for the machine he built and the image he's still fighting to maintain. But Floyd's post-retirement career continues to stir up controversy, and not just because of the opponents he chooses or the millions he makes per exhibition. No, this time it's the words, not the punches, that are sparking debate, especially after fellow boxing icon Oscar De La Hoya took a public jab at Mayweather's current path. In a video posted to Instagram as part of his Clapback Thursday series, De La Hoya didn't mince words. Floyd, you're 50 years old. You're a legend in the sport. You have to stop embarrassing yourself with these exhibitions. I know life is hard and life is expensive, but come on, dude. Put your legacy first.
Floyd, you're 50 years old. You're a legend in the sport. I've stood up for you in countless interviews, including Shannon Sharp's podcast last week. But you have to stop embarrassing yourself with these exhibitions. I know life is hard. I know life is expensive. But come on, dude, put your legacy first. Nobody wants to remember you like this. And it gets worse. Your jeweler filed a lawsuit against you in Miami. And many are saying you're gonna have to sell off your assets. Floyd.
It was direct, it was sharp, it was personal, and it hit Floyd in a way that clearly touched a nerve. Because if there's one thing Mayweather doesn't take lightly, it's someone questioning his legacy. Mayweather went to social media and fired off a post that read more like a manifesto than a reply. The message was clear: retirement doesn't mean retreat. To him, it's freedom. The freedom to earn on his terms. To fight who he wants, when he wants, and to keep making millions while doing it. Retirement isn't about slowing down, it's about living on your own terms, he wrote. I've worked hard to build a life where I can choose my adventures. And if those adventures still bring in multi-millions, even better. Success isn't something you retire from, it's something you refine.
Where did you get that business sense? Because you surpassed everybody in boxing and sports and everything in general. I'm watching you as like, you bigger than the NFL franchise.
You know, every time I got around my billionaire buddies, I was more like, it's cool to come over your house, but I need a house like this. It's cool to ride on your yacht, but I need a yacht like this. It's cool to ride on your jet, but I want a jet like this. And I said, no, I don't want to ride on yours. You show me how to get it. You can't be my friend if you can't show me how to get it. Once they show me how to get it, then I can install it in my children.
It's a bloodline thing.
Now, if you know Mayweather, you know this wasn't going to end with just one post. He dug in even deeper with more messages aimed squarely at what he sees as critics, or, as he put it, bitter, jealous, envious, loser stalkers. That's Floyd for you. Unfiltered, blunt, and absolutely unapologetic. People, freaks even, miserable with their own lives so they stalk others. That is how sad some people are. Shots fired. But this wasn't just a personal feud. Floyd opened the floodgates to a bigger conversation, one that touches race, wealth, legacy, and the public's discomfort with athletes who refuse to follow the script. His next post read like a declaration of independence.
Like in the beginning, you know, I feel like people was rooting for me, wanted the best for me. And the more and more as I accomplished more and kept accomplishing things, then you start seeing like different things. Then you start saying, he's a wife beater, or he's not that smart, or you hear so many different things. And I just feel like, okay, you're entitled to believe whatever you want to.
They expect athletes to go broke, not build portfolios. They expect flash, not financial literacy. Well, I'm rewriting the script with my own money, my own mind, and my own moves. If that threatens you, that says more about you than me. Floyd is right on one point. The boxing world has a long, painful history of legends going broke. Mayweather's saying, not me. He's rewriting the ending, and he wants people to know he's doing it on his own terms. But here's where the story splits depending on who you ask. To some, Floyd's exhibitions are a brilliant strategy. He's making millions fighting zero-risk opponents, YouTubers, MMA fighters, unknown boxers, and laughing his way to the bank.
Some of the biggest artists, you wouldn't even know, because my name don't have to be on everything. I have to be the marquee. Yeah, because sometimes if you put your name on certain things, you got people that's gonna be jealous. So sometimes I was like, I don't have to have my name on it to collect the check.
He's staying in shape, keeping his name relevant, and continuing to cash in on the brand he spent decades building. To others, and De La Hoya clearly falls in this camp, it's a slow death by 1,000 paper cuts. A legend tarnishing his name fight by fight, not because he's losing, but because he's lowering the value of his name. They argue that every new exhibition cheapens the memory of 50-0, that the greatest defensive fighter in history is turning into a circus act, that he's chasing cash instead of legacy. But is that even fair? Let's be honest. Floyd's not hurting anybody in these exhibitions. He's not risking his health. He's not getting knocked out. He's not facing killers. These fights are glorified sparring matches with a crowd. If anything, they're brand-building exercises. He walks in, dances around, flashes the money, makes his $10 million, and walks out. Easy work. And if people are paying for it, can you really blame him?
How much is it?
$1.8 million.
$1.8 million watch.
$1.8 million, dude?
You're the first to see it.
That's insane. That
1.8 is high. 18 life.
That happy birthday, champ.
That's how we doing.
1 point. That is sick, dude.
But you gotta show them what he's saying.
And yet, the criticism keeps coming. There's an unspoken rule in sports that once you reach a certain level, you're supposed to ride off into the sunset. You're supposed to age gracefully. You're supposed to stay out of the spotlight unless you're doing commentary or getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. You're not supposed to still be chasing the spotlight. Floyd never signed that rule book, and that's where the controversy deepens. Mayweather isn't just fighting past his prime, he's thriving past it. He's raking in more money now than most champions make in their peak. He's doing business deals, real estate moves, launching new companies. But instead of getting applause, he's still getting hate.
Just another ordinary day, chilling in an EWB Rolls Royce. For those that don't know what an EWB is, that's an extended wheelbase Rolls Royce. I need the leg room. I know I ain't that tall, about 5'8.5", some days 5'9", but it is what it is. Chilling, sitting right here watching the Thriller in Manila, Ali versus Frazier documentary. Come check it out.
Maybe it's because Floyd never gave the public what they wanted emotionally. He was never the underdog, never the humble warrior, never the people's champ. He was the villain, the guy who beat everyone, dodged punches with ease, and rubbed his wealth in your face while doing it. He didn't beg for love, he demanded attention. And now, years later, that same energy follows him. Look at his own words. More often than not, they'd rather question the legitimacy of your power moves than applaud your growth. Racism, envy, and tired stereotypes fuel the doubt.
We got options, options, options. I got about 100 cars, but right here, we like to call this the Sweet 16. Lambo, Ferrari,
Ferrari, Ferrari, Ferrari, Lambo, Maybach, a Maybach, whatever you want to call it.
That's not just a clap back. That's an indictment of the entire system. Floyd is calling out the boxing community, and maybe even the media, for not wanting to see a black man win without falling. He's saying the world prefers the story of the broken champion over the wealthy one. It's a powerful message, and one that resonates in a sport built on pain and poverty. Boxers often come from nothing. Their rise is fueled by struggle, and the public eats up their stories of hardship. But when they succeed, really succeed, that's when the knives come out. Mayweather sees this, and he's not holding back. I didn't fall to status quo. I studied, I invested, and I'm building a legacy whether they like it or not.
It was crazy that everybody keep asking me, why you not coming back to fight? Why you not coming back to fight? So I look at the fight game, I said, okay. I said, you know, fighters fighting, they make 3 million, 4 million, 6 million, 7 million. Some may make 10 or 20 million, but I'm doing exhibitions and I'm making 20, 25 million, 100 million for exhibitions. So why would I come back and fight?
It's that last part, whether they like it or not, that really sums up the situation. Floyd doesn't need anyone's approval. Not De La Hoya's, not the fans, not the media's. He's doing what he wants, how he wants. But it's also why the controversy will never die. Oscar De La Hoya, for all his own controversies, represents the old guard of boxing. The one that says legacy matters more than money. That fighting a real contender is worth more than 10 exhibitions. That when you're a legend, you act like one.
The Money Man is back. I'm here in New York City with the one and only Benny the Jeweler. Benny, tell the people what you sold me today.
All right. You see what's going on. We got the Eye of the Tiger factory on a full pave bracelet.
And tell the people about this, please.
We got the white tag with it too.
That's an extra 20,000 from what he told me.
Yes, sir.
Money made, and y'all know the rest.
That's the battle playing out in real time, and Mayweather isn't backing down. To him, he's not the same kid who took orders from promoters. He is the promoter now. The fighter, the manager, the marketer, and the investor all rolled into one. And he knows it makes people uncomfortable. Respect the hustle instead of trying to dissect it. That's the final word for now. Whether you love him or hate him, Floyd Mayweather is forcing the sport and the world to reckon with what success looks like when you've already won. Well, what do you think? Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more.